Hello, my name is Pasha Sonia Bosa, and I'm here with my group members to present our business research on the topic, the impact of political risk on supply chains, potential consequences for the UK food supply due to disruption in the Panama Canal, a case study of Unilever. So let's begin with the introduction. Today we're looking at a real world issue, the political risks around the Panama Canal and how they might affect the UK's food supply chain. Specifically, we focus on Unilever, one of the UK's largest food companies. The Panama Canal is controlled by an independent authority, but it's very important to major world powers like the United States, China, and countries in Europe. It connects the Atlantic Pacific Oceans and it plays a big role in global trade. The US built the canal and is still its biggest user today because the canal is so important. It's so important. Any political problems or tensions in the area could cause major trade delays. This is especially risky for companies like Unilever, which ships food products across the world. If the canal is blocked or slowed down, Unilever might have to use longer and more expensive routes. These delays could also spoil perishable items like fruits and dairy products. With countries like the UK, China, and US all having big interest in the region, any political conflict could disrupt not just trade, but also military and diplomatic activity. That's why our study looks at how these political risks could affect Unilever's supply chain in the UK if the Panama Canal is disrupted. Moving on, I would go to the next slide. The research background, the Panama Canal is a very important location for many powerful countries like the USA, China, and the UK. It gives major logistical and trade advantages because it connects like the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. This makes shipping faster, easier, and cheaper. It's also useful for moving military ships and improving diplomatic relationships between countries. For companies like Unilever, the canal is especially important. It acts as a shortcut for moving products between Asia, Latin America, and Europe. It helps Unilever save both time and money when transporting goods. However, political issues in Panama Canal region could interrupt trade. If there are delays or closure, Unilever might have to use longer routes. These alternative routes will increase shipping costs and take more time. Worse, they could also lead to damage of perishable food like fruits, dairy, and frozen goods, which don't last during transport. So, understanding the role of the Panama Canal and the risks involved is key to protecting supply chains for companies like Unilever. On the next slide, I'm going to talk about the research rationale. Political disruptions in Panama Canal can affect global trade, especially for countries like the UK, China, and the US. Since Unilever is one of the UK's largest food retailers, it is important to understand how these disruptions could directly impact their supply chain. If the canal becomes blocked or restricted, Unilever may have to use longer shipping routes. These alternative routes will increase the cost of transportation and delivery time. For food items that spoil easily, like fruits, vegetables, and dairy, this delay could lead to damage and waste. That means more losses for the company and possibly higher prices for customers. We asked, is this situation really relevant for Unilever UK? The answer is yes. The company relies on ingredients and products that come from different parts of the world. The Panama Canal helps them move those goods faster and more efficiently. If political tension delay that if political tension delay that process, the whole supply chain is affected. So it's necessary for Unilever to consider these risks. Ignoring the problem could lead to higher costs, food shortage, and even a drop in customer satisfaction. Also, we found that many recent studies focus on how the Panama Canal affects the UK food supply chain specifically. Even fewer look at Unilever as a case study. That's why we chose this topic. We believe our research will fill that gap and help Unilever and other companies prepare for possible risks in the future. Now, I would allow my group member to take the next slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Precious. My name is Salman Faris Palikandi, and I'm going to explain the specific aim and objectives are there for this research. The primary aim of the research is to analyze the impact of political risk on the supply chain of Unilever, specifically in the event of disruption in Panama Canal, a globally critical trade route. The canal facilitates a significant portion of international maritime trade, and any instability B2B from political intention, governance issues, or regulatory changes can be a pose serious threat to the supply chain continuity, cost efficiency, and delivery and timelines. Our objectives are twofold. First, we seek to evaluate how a disruption in the canal driven by a political risk would affect Unilever operation in UK. This involves investigation vulnerabilities across logistics, inventories management, and sourcing strategies. Secondly, based on our analysis, we aim to provide political recommendations not only for Unilever but also for the UK government. These recommendations will focus on mitigation strategies such as diversifications of supply routes, uh, contingency planning, and collaborative international diplomacy to safeguard trade corridors like Panama Canal. By focusing on these specific geopolitical checkpoints, our study intends to offer actionable insight for building resilience, future-ready supply chain. And moving to the next slide. In today's globally interconnected economy, political risks have been a defining factors in shaping the stability and resilience of supply chain. According to Cooper in 2022, these risks manifest in various forms including government instability, political unrest between nations, warfares, and sophisticated military or cyber attacks. These challenges can be severely affected a country diplomatic relationship and economic operations, creating a ripple effect across industries. These insights from Rodriguez Corey 2025 political risk can impact supply chain in numerous practical ways. For example, disruption or blockage in critical trade routes such as Panama Canal may result in delay in product delivery, physical damage to the goods, and inflated import and export cost. There could be also a sudden change in trade regulation that halt production and the movement of the goods. For a multinational like Unilever, these vulnerabilities pose significant threats to operation efficiency and customer service quality, especially within the UK market. To effectively manage such disruption, we turn to supply chain resilience theory. This theory outlined two key mechanisms: resistance and recovery. Resistance refers to the supply chain system's capability to absorb shocks without significant breakdown. It includes diversified sourcing strategies, flexible logistics networks, and predictive risk assessment. On the other hand, recover emphasizes rapid restoration of supply chain functionality after disruption. This involves robust contingency planning, inventory buffers, and agile supply relationship. In essence, integrating these resilience strategies allow firms like Unilever to respond proactively to politely uncertainty. This transforms vulnerability into preparedness, enabling not only continuity but long-term competitive advantage. By embedding resistance and recovery principles into their supply chain designs, companies and governments can mitigate the consequences of political turbulence, especially in geopolitically sensitive checkpoints like Panama Canal. This research thus emphasized the urgent need for strategic foresight and coordinations between corporate actors and government agencies to maintain trade stability in an increasingly volatile political landscape. And we are going to next slide, and I would like to invite my friend to explain the slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Salman. And I'm Nohman Abdul Qadir, and I will be speaking on research methodology. Our study can be called a secondary study. Secondary data collection method was used for the data collection, and data was collected from articles, online, website reports, journals, and annual reports. Utilizing the case study strategy, the case of Unilever and United Kingdom market were evaluated with the help of secondary data. A mixed method was used as both the quantitative and qualitative data were used for the data analysis. Exploratory research design was employed to explore the impact of political risks on supply chains of Unilever over Panama Canal. This area has less explored, which led to choose the exploratory research design by using the case study analysis method. The data was evaluated to make conclusions by interpreting findings and comparing with previous literature. As part of the research ethics, only recent and relevant data and authentic sources were used. Likewise, misinterpretation was avoided and citations were provided to protect copyrights. Let's move on to the next slide.
Data or findings. It is understood that the Panama Canal disruption by political or other reasons will adversely affect the global trade and development. This is applicable for UK and Unilever as well. There is a chance for the delays in the canal which may spoil the food material and imported foods. This will create high economic burden for Unilever. Political issues between countries will hinder the transit of the food product of Unilever. In this way, price for the products will be increased and customer satisfaction will be reduced. There is evidence of 0.1% of price increase for consumers by increased shipping rate globally. Unilever will be needed to increase the price of goods as an outcome of disruption in the canal by political crisis. Moreover, food storage can be expected by Unilever. The food product material shipped by Unilever can be damaged, especially the perishable products. High shipping charge and tariffs will be imposed, which will lead to price increase of the products in the UK. Next slide. The political risks surrounded by Panama Canal will affect Unilever in different ways. Primarily, the price rise for cocoa, coffee, palm oil, and tropical fruits can be expected. These products come from Unilever from Asian and Latin American markets. Products can only sell in the UK and foreign markets for a higher price as an outcome of political crisis. As a result, customers may depend on substitute products or cheaper local products, and this will affect the sales revenue and growth of Unilever in the UK. In this way, Unilever will have high economic loss. The political skirmish will not allow Unilever to collect cocoa, coffee, palm oil, and tropical fruits through the canal region. This will be delayed often and thereby the growth will be declined. Thank you, and I will be handing over to my colleague.
Thank you, Numa. My name is Karthik. Now let's have a look into the data analysis. The supply chain of Unilever in the UK will be affected by the global political risk surrounded by the Panama Canal interest. The previous authors identified some kind of political risk, such as instability of government, political turmoil between nations, war between nations, and military and cyber attacks. As a result, the tension between the involved nations will intensify, and that will end with trade route blocking, high cost for the import and export, delay to receive and send products for Unilever UK. Apart from this, product damage, changes in the rules and regulations of the trade laws, and restrictions for export and production will be other outcomes. Unilever's contribution to development of UK and also the world will be reduced by the political tensions. Unilever will have high economic loss by the shipping delay. Poor customer satisfaction and engagement can be expected by shipping delay and associated price rise. This will increase chance for Unilever to lose competitive advantage as well. The reputation of Unilever will be decreased by food crisis and shortage, and that will affect the growth. These are the chances of poor customer loyalty and attrition by the political crisis. In conclusion, global political risks related to Panama Canal region will impact the supply chain of Unilever in the UK. This political risk may be generated by the interested parties or any countries which have trade and diplomatic relationship with the UK. Consequently, the UK's trade development will be affected and can also expect trade route blocking, high cost for import and export, and delay. Importantly, the smooth export and import will be affected severely and economic loss can be faced by the delayed import of materials and also the export of finished products. In addition, the price rise as an outcome of delay and food scarcity will create customer dissatisfaction, loyalty, and disengagement. Moreover, reputation and brand image will be harmfully affected and thereby competitive advantage may be lost for Unilever. Hence, it is necessary for the company to have adequate resistance and recovery measures. Now, coming to our recommendations. Considering the supply chain resilience theory, both resistance and recovery measures can be adopted by UK government and Unilever to overcome the political risks. In case of resistance, UK may find alternative routes for trade purpose. Moreover, the diplomatic and maritime relationship can be strengthened with Asian and Latin American nations. A good diplomatic relationship can be maintained with US since US has a high influence in the Panama Canal. In addition, Unilever can utilize the advanced early warning system and risk forecasting tools, but the employees must be given training to use this. Similarly, Unilever can invest largely to improve the cold chain logistics for lasting the products even if it got delayed. In case of recovery, the previous import and export can be recovered and maintained by finding alternative regions and routes. As part of this, cocoa, palm oil, and coffee can be imported from Africa or the regions of South Asia. Similarly, Unilever may find routes through Cape of Good Hope and Suez Canal. To reduce the complications created by Panama Canal, though it will increase distance and cost. That's all with our presentation. Thank you for your time.